So some of the other work I do, as well as kind of, apart from the actual 3D and visual effects, is I talk at events. I'm usually at most of the big events in the industry, but also I teach a regular course at Image Island, which is a Dublin-based school for visual effects. The course I do there, it has evolved very slightly over the last few courses, but it's a visual effects course for Cinema 4D artists, and it's kind of an intermediate upwards level where we look at everything from modelling, texturing, lighting, rendering, dynamics, all that stuff. It's all in there. We look at a bit of espresso, we look at animation as well as just the kind of the static stuff. But I've also started to introduce things like Real Flow for doing fluid simulations, and also some of the dynamics tools in Real Flow are very, very good as well, and they complement Cinema 4D very well. And as I was saying earlier, some of the plugins for Cinema 4D are fantastic, and Real Flow is another one of those. It fits in perfectly well, and the Real Flow render kit makes life just a bit simpler, makes your workflow just smoother and easier to understand. And obviously Maxwell is a big part of my work, so I like to kind of share that with my students. And I know students that come to my courses, they can get a student license for a year, so that they can really they can learn the basics from me during the course, and they can get up to speed with how the renderer works. They can understand how lighting works, and we can look at how you build a material, and we can combine that so it's a real world workflow. So maybe we'll take a camera out and we'll take some footage and we'll track that in using Cinema 4D's camera tracker, and then we'll add Maxwell Render as our render solution, and we'll have a fully working shot at the end of it. And I think there's no better way of showing your students what they can do than actually working in a production pipeline kind of a way. So that's a big part of the course. It wasn't difficult to add Maxwell or Real Flow into the course at all. In fact, it just seems like a natural progression. So the Cinema 4D renderer is pretty good in itself. You can get some really good results out of it, and the physical renderer built into Cinema 4D is really very nice. It just doesn't go quite as far as I would like, and I think for a lot of full production work you need to go that step further, and you need the quality. And also pipeline wise, you want to have, like I was talking about earlier, the multi-light system, things like that, and the Simulens map, so you can have kind of fingerprints on the lens and all that stuff, and you can have a slight vignetting around your image, and you can drive that with images rather than have to do it in post. And if you can do it kind of in camera, as it were, then it is always better. So all of that stuff was just natural. It was just the best way to stick it into the course, and it was very easy. Because the whole section on rendering and lighting, I just kind of swapped it over, and I was like, well, let's just slot this new render in here. I'll explain to you very quickly. In fact, it only takes a morning to get people up and running with materials, lighting and rendering, and using some of those fantastic kind of Simulens things that you can do. So very, very easy to do. I kind of love seeing the results, and I like seeing the faces of the students when you show them multi-light, especially when you turn on the color ability as well as the intensity, and they all kind of sit there going, wow, look at that, I never knew anything could do that. And I don't have to press re-render, so they don't have to kind of go away and have a cup of coffee and come back, and that's a really big thing. I love seeing that.